Hello, my YouTube friends and family. This is not a message. This is not a rant. Sorry about the big light, but I ain't got nobody to plug up the the rope light for me. This is something that should have been done a long time ago. And it's going to be emotional for me. Probably won't for y'all, but it will be for me. I'm about to talk about my life and my family and my feelings about pretty much everybody. You know, we always, us preachers, we're always telling folks, say what's on your mind because you're not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not guaranteed your next breath. So say what's on your mind. I guess as a kid, my life really sucked. I had a great dad. My grandma Ruth and my little granny, you just couldn't ask for no better. My granddaddy John, that man was my heart. That's why John Boy has the name he has. He's named after my granddaddy John. My mother was not a very nice person for the first 13 years I was born. She tried to kill me numerous times. But after 13, she turned into a pretty decent mother, and I long forgave her for all the bad she did. And I loved her very much until the day she died. My big granny I hated, and it's taken me years after her death to forgive her for the evil that she did to me. It was just evil. Words can't describe it. But I had other family members that were precious to me. I had a cousin. She comes in here every once in a while, Gail Mosley. Now, folks know I didn't have incestual thoughts about my cousin Gail, but Gail was always really nice to me. She never hurt me. She never made fun of me or made me feel bad. And let me tell you something. For as old as she is today, and she's older than me, I ain't gonna say how old she is because I don't want to get hit with a stick. She still looks really good today. But back in her heyday, my God, she was beautiful. And I just loved to look at her. Looking at her gave me a little bit of joy because she was so pretty. And it, like I say, it wasn't a lust pretty. It was just, wow, how did God make something that's so pretty? She was so pretty. I loved her then very much, and I still do today. My other cousin Pamela was the same way. I don't talk to Pamela anymore. I don't even know if she's alive or dead. But man, I loved her so much back then because those two and Ruth Ann, I can't forget Ruth Ann. Those three were the cousins that made my life a little better because they didn't hurt me. Squeaky never hurt me neither. But the rest of them did. Tommy, Joey, Tinker Jim, Jimmy, they all made fun of me and picked on me and hurt me something fierce. And I know some of the family ain't gonna like me saying that, but I don't care. It's high time that I stop thinking about what everybody else in my family wants and do what needs to be done. So that's what I'm doing. My daddy taught me how to be a man. My grandma Ruth taught me how to love and how to love God. And my little granny taught me everything about life that there is to teach. But now my family is different than most families. My little granny, she was my grandmother and my great grandmother. What? How's that possible? When my big granny, my real blood grandmother, had my mother and her sister Mary Ann, She wanted to run off and party all the time. She didn't want to raise kids. So she dumped my mother and my aunt with her mother, which was little granny, Mattie. Granny went down to the courthouse, filed papers, and she adopted my mama and her sister. They were her grandkids, but she adopted them. That made her their mother and grandmother. That made her my grandmother and great grandmother. That's how that's explained. There wasn't nothing sinister to it. It was just Granny being Granny. And I'm saying that because this next part's important. My mother had been dumped onto my little granny. And well, when my mother had my two sisters, I'm going to call them Marty and Florence. That's what I called them my whole life. She didn't want them. So she dumped them on Big Granny, Martha McDaniel, Mackie, the evilest witch to ever walk the top side of this earth. And Mackie made their life a living hell. My sister Florence was 2 years older than me, God rest her soul. She died back in 2004, 2005. Me and her was pretty close. I got to see her every Sunday when we'd go over to help pick up eggs at the chicken farm that my papa ran. They had over 144,000 chickens in cages that laid eggs. They were egg farmers. After we pick up the eggs, my sister Marty really didn't want much to do with me. And it wasn't her being mean, she's just way older. She's like 6 years older than me. I was young and playful and energetic, and she was already, into her early teens. She didn't want to be fooling with a kid. I can understand that. But we weren't never really as close as me and Florence was. I called her Florence for Flossie. Flossie most of the time. She liked to be called Sam, but I couldn't do it. We'd go out to the trampoline. We'd jump and bounce around, and Flossie would steal some cigarettes out of my mama's pack. And then we'd slip into the shed and she'd smoke them. I didn't smoke. She'd smoke them. And we was in the shed and we'd sit there and she'd tell me stories about green fingernail and all kinds of stuff. We just had a lot of fun. I told y'all I had a mama that I forgave. Well, Mama Linda, y'all hear me talk about her a lot. That woman was extremely special to me. Still is today. I just talked to her a couple days ago. Wished her a happy Mother's Day. I love her for reasons that I'm not going to get into on here. Nothing sinister about them, just not your business is mine. But I love her and she means the world to me, and that's why she's being mentioned here. I consider her my family. And Scott Bozeman, man, what to say about Scott? He's such a wild individual. My God. He was my band teacher. He's the band director at Ridgeville High School. And he saved my bacon more times than one at the schoolhouse from getting in trouble. But the reason I'm mentioning him here is because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Scott. I wanted to die, see. I was being picked on and made miserable by the popular kids at school, the ones that wore the members only jackets. The ones that always thought that they were far better than everybody else, that their poop didn't stink. I'd gotten hurt and lost my ability to play football. I was really good at it. And Scott came up to me and goes, "You play music?" I said, "Yeah, I can." He said, "Why don't you try out for an instrument? I want you to play tuba." I said, "I ain't interested." He said, "I ain't asked you what you're interested in. I told you you was going to do it." I said, "Yes, sir." When an adult teacher tells you you're going to do something, by God, you did it back in the 80s. I did it and I fell in love with it. And it was him seeing something in me. that I wasn't a waste of skin. It kept me alive. It was him believing in me when nobody else would, not even my own family. His mentoring and his kindness saved my life. It just did. And I'll love him forever for that. I don't care what the man does. I can never thank him enough for what he did for me. But there was two boys in my life. They were my friends. About the only two real friends I had. Kelly and Kirby Archambault. They could have very easily took the I'm better than you route because their daddy owned the drug store in Cobbtown and Collins. He was a big pharmacist, loved by everybody. But these boys were my friends, twins. Born just a few minutes apart. Identical twins. I could tell the difference, but most folks couldn't, still can't. But I still can. They used to come to my house and spend the night, and I'd go to their house and spend the night. They were real friends. I got to be honest, I really did enjoy going to their house to spend the night because they had better TVs. Oh, yeah, like I say, their daddy was a pharmacist. He had the money. So they had better everything. They had nicer carpet, shag carpet. Oh, man, that was nice. But the most beautiful thing in South Georgia that they had air conditioning in every room. The house was cool. They had air conditioning. And I really love that air conditioning almost as much as I love them two boys. But they were my best friends. My life took a series of changes and flips and flops. I went through some really bad stuff. Had to go to a lot of awful places that I'm just not going to get into here. I saw a lot of good friends die. I saw a lot of folks get maimed. Seen a lot of my friends come home in a box. I've seen a lot of my friends come home in pieces. That's enough about that. But I met a beautiful lady in 2000, my wife, Kate. She turned my life around. I was going through cancer, and when I met her, I'd pretty much given up Doctors had told me I was terminal. And that I was going to die. It's just a matter of months. Kate was just my friend then. And she told me, she said, they got cancer treatment centers of America over in Tampa. You should go see what they say. I decided, why not? And I did. And they said they could help me. And they did. I'm still here. But I didn't have much of a reason to live at that time. I got 2 daughters that live in Georgia that I don't ever talk about here. I'm not going to call their names here because they prefer not to be a part of my life. And I respect them for their decision. They mean a lot to me, but I'm not going to talk about them on this camera or any other one. But I love them none the same. But I didn't have much of a reason to live. My mother and my father were dead. My little granny was dead. My granddaddy John was dead. The woman I loved had been killed in a car wreck. I just didn't have nothing. Well, these along with Kate came Gail, Ian, and Diana. Diana was a baby. She was born in 2000. I watched her learn how to walk. She used to come up to the little baby gate that we kept across the kitchen so she couldn't get into the kitchen where knives and stuff was at. Me and her mama would be in there cooking, and she'd look up at me and she'd go, CJ, cookie. And I'd give her a cookie. She'd go away and she'd eat her cookie. And she'd come back and say, CJ, cookie. And I'd slip her another cookie. And by the time supper time would come, she wouldn't want no supper because she's full of cookies. A couple of months later, she made me one of the happiest men in the world. She called me Daddy. And I became her daddy. I tried to be a daddy to Ian and to Gail, but Gail wasn't having it. Gail let you know quick, fast, and in a hurry she's got a father. She don't need another one. Still to this day. Gail is my right hand. She's my companion. She's my partner in crime. When I'm having an awful night like I was last night, she tries to console me by rubbing my head and telling me everything will be all right. When I almost died, she was right there at my bedside every chance she got. But back then, she was a handful. Nothing like her brother Ian, my son. See, when Gail turned 18, I think she was 18 or 19. She might have been 20. I can't remember now. She got together with Ian and with Ayana, and she said, I'll pay for it, but I'm going to get my last name changed to Pearson. That was a proud day for me. Y'all want y'all's name changed. Well, Ian wanted his name changed. And Ayana wanted hers changed. They all wanted to officially be a Pearson. And that made my heart sing. Never been prouder in my life. Ian was my best friend. We did everything together, went fishing together, hunting together. We worked together, got in trouble together. I don't get to see him so much anymore. But I don't love him any less. Ayana, she got to live out her dream and become a school teacher. And she teaches fifth grade math, and she's really good at it, from what I understand. Made her daddy proud. Yes, she did. You know, a lot of people, they attack me about my children, especially about Maddie and Cecil. So I'm going to just put it all out there today because it needs to be out there. Maddie Ann Ruth Pearson prefers to be called Matt because she doesn't want to be a she wants to be a he. And I don't care. I don't care if she's a daughter or a son. She's my kid, and I love her no matter what. And I'm extremely proud of her. Hate me for it if you want to. I don't give a damn. Leave the congregation if you want to because I got a trans kid. Well, hold on. I got two. Cecil don't want to be Cecil. He wants to be Bridget. And you know what? I don't care. That's my boy. That's my kid. I love him no matter what. Can't you do something about that? I don't want to do nothing about it. What do you mean? It ain't my decision to make. It's theirs. Their life, their decision. That's the one thing I hated about my life is I didn't get to run it. Somebody else ran it. Somebody else told me what I was going to do for a living, how I was going to join the army, how I was going to do this, how I was going to do that. I didn't get to make any decisions for myself. Somebody made them for me and forced them on me. Well, I said, by God, I wasn't doing that to my kids, and I ain't. My kids don't want to go to church. They don't have to. My kids don't want to accept God. They ain't got to. That's between them and God, not me. So you can come at me about my kids all you want to. I don't give a damn. They're my kids, and I love them, and I'm proud of them. Each and every one of them. All of them. And if you don't like cats, you can piss off. I don't care. But they're my babies. And by God, you want to attack them, you better be ready to fight me. And I don't think nobody's ready for that. But moving on, because that ain't what this is about. Gail gave me two beautiful grandkids, John Philip and William Augustus. John Boy and Augie. They are the light of my life. They are my boys. When my wife died, I thought for sure that Gail was going to rack off and be somewhere else and take my grandkids away from me. And Gail looked me straight in the eyes and she said, I ain't going nowhere. I love you and I'm staying right here with you, and so are these boys. We ain't going nowhere. Moo, she plays the piano and plays the guitar. Cease, he can play the guitar. He can play the piano. Um, they both sing. Y'all hear Cecil sing on here all the time. Y'all love it when he comes on and sings. But this ministry has brought me so many new people into my life. Some I really love, and a couple I wouldn't walk across the street to piss on if they were on fire. Just telling the truth, folks. That's what this is. Brent Ellis, he originally started watching me to prove that I was a fake. And then he got to talking to me and found out that I wasn't. See, Brent runs a little something called Scam Busters. And he thought for sure I was scamming folks. And when he fell in with me, he realized I wasn't. I went up to Michigan, met him, met Chrissy, and met the kids, and met Erica. We had a revival up there where I met quite a few people from chat up there. Amber and Janet, Miss Marilyn, and Javen. There's been a bunch of people come to my home. But Brent and I, we don't get to talk. I don't ever get to talk to him as much as I'd like to because he's always busy doing something. I swear that man stays so busy sometimes he don't know whether to wind his butt or scratch his watch. He's always hopping for some reason. But that's okay. Because when I do get to talk to him, for the most part, it makes my day be just a little bit better. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And there's old Chris Define. He don't come on here a lot. He watches the videos on rerun because of his job. He's been here. He is not by any means a last resort. No. But he's the fella that I can turn to when my head just ain't screwed on straight. He really is. When I can't get my head wrapped around something, or Chris is the guy that I like to talk to for that. Brother Bud's been here. Him and his wife. Brother Bud keeps me hooked up in grits, and he just sent me some light bulbs that he found cheap up there. He even brought me the pork fat so I could make cracklings. I'm sorry now. You really got to love a fella that'll drive hours one way to bring you some pork fat so you can make some cracklings and get some lard the old-fashioned way. Really got to love a fellow that'll do that for you. And I do. There's old Tony. Tony always makes me laugh with some of the stuff that he does, some of the things he says, and some of the things he posts. Him and Pamela both. Pamela sent me some beautiful drawings. One of them's hanging up right over there. Here's Jenny and Joey. Oh man, I could do a whole video on just them. When I was dying, they were the only people from this congregation to show up. The only ones. They had to drive hours to get here. It's a 3-hour drive one way from my house to theirs. Even further when they come from their place over in Murfreesboro. But I can call Joey right now and tell him I need him, and he'll be here just as quick as he can get here. I can call Jenny right now and tell her, look, I need you to come here and put your hands on me and pray for me. And I'm going to tell you something, that woman will move heaven and earth to get here, buddy. I love them. And I don't get to see them nearly as much as I used to or want to. But I absolutely love them. There's old Angela. Yeah, she's a little aggravating. But let me tell you something. If I need to talk to somebody, she's right there. All I got to do is type in and tell her I need to talk to her. She's on it. She don't care what time of the day or night it is, she's on it. And I love her for that. You know, a lot of people tell me, they say, why don't you get rid of these people that aggravate you? Well, I did that, there wouldn't be nobody in chat. Because everybody in here has aggravated me at one point or another. Just like I've aggravated y'all at one point or another. We're humans. We get on each other's nerves. Yes, we do. But I know if I need prayer, I can contact a woman named Janet. And she will pray without ceasing until God gives her an answer. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know that. You know, that's the thing about family. Is we all love one another so much that we can tell each other the truth. However, we also all love one another enough that we can aggravate the fire out of each other. Yes, we can. And we do so. I know I aggravate some of y'all. I know I do. And well, y'all know some of y'all aggravate me. You know you do. That don't mean I don't love you no more or no less. You know, like there's Kay right there. I love Kay to death. I swear I do. I can talk to her about a lot of things. Some things I can't. She'll tell you I can talk to her about anything. I'll tell you some things I can't. Hey, Tony, put one in her other shoe, too. Tell her it's from me. Well, the snakes will take care of the mice, so that'll work out pretty good. And now comes the real emotional part for me. In 2018, when my wife died, this ministry, this church, this family that we have here, y'all helped me through the worst part of my life. And I can never thank you enough. Y'all have seen me up and you've seen me down. You've seen me sin. You've seen me be a saint. You've seen me laugh. You've seen me cry. You've seen me through sickness. You've seen me through near death. We've had a lot of people fall away. There used to be 100, 150, sometimes 200 people in this chat when we get started. Now the most we ever have is about 35. But I'm going to tell you something. For the ones that stuck with me, I love you guys beyond words. And I don't ever want you to wonder how I feel about y'all. I want you to know. And I know I have taken up another hour of your time, but I just felt like it was really important for me to make this video here today so that people know how I feel about them. Ain't that right, Mo?
We'll do it now.
It's always important to let people know how you feel about them.
Yep. Even if it hurts their feelings.
By the way, Mo don't like the coconut Dr. Pepper. She said it tastes like Dr. Pepper with suntan lotion in it.
It was gross.
I love it.
And then you can have all of it. I'm sorry. I don't enjoy the taste of suntan lotion.
Dad, this must be something out of the 70s and 80s then.
I like coconut flavored things, but that's just suntan lotion. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not.
You gotta put your shoes on first.
I'm gonna put my shoes on. I still gotta pack my lunch too. It was a really bad night last night. Everything is all discombobulated at the moment.
Yeah, you came home early.
No, I came home at the right time. I just didn't hang out, and I didn't stop at the gas station. I just went straight home.
Oh, okay.
I get off at 4:30 now.
Oh, okay.
4:30 4:30 Eastern time, 3:30 our time.
But I think it's important for people to say how they feel about the people who are the most important in their life. But I love you guys. I really do. And I want y'all to know it. So y'all go on, you have yourself a good afternoon. Take care. Love one another. Pray for one another. Talk to one another. And I'll catch y'all sometime tomorrow when I get back from the surgeon. Love you. Bye now.